Okay, so I'm going to quickly go over the honors project. Someone asked if I could go over it, and I thought, why didn't I make a video for this beforehand? So the due date is January 17th. You have two parts that you have to complete. One is the research paper PowerPoint aspect, so you need to do one or the other, either a research paper or a research PowerPoint. And then the other thing you have to do is you need to do a multi-genre aspect. So you need to do two things, either the research paper PowerPoint or a PowerPoint, sorry, research paper or a PowerPoint, and then you also need to do the multi-genre paper, whatever it is you're going to do. So you have two options. You can do either an era of American literature, which you can see in a list right here, or an American author. Should you choose to do an American author, just make sure they're actually American. Send me an email like, hey, is Ernest Hemingway an American author? Yeah, he is. You can write about him. Shakespeare is not. I don't want a Shakespeare paper this year. Please, for the love of all that is good in this world, no Shakespeare papers. He is not American. So if you choose, once you've chosen either an era or an American author, that's the focus of the entire honors project. So you'll write a research paper or a research PowerPoint on that author or era, and then you'll also use that era or author in your multi-genre paper. You're not doing two. So for the research paper, 2 to 3 page MLA format. So it's double spaced, size 12 font, Times New Roman or other similar font. 2 to 3 pages, got a works cited page, the usual MLA format. And so once you've chosen it, if you choose an era, you're gonna talk about the major events that happened during that time, how it affected history, major authors that contributed during that era, things like that. You're going to understand a little bit about the history of the era to kind of figure out why that type of literature showed up during that time period. When we were talking about how, if I go up here for a second, we'll talk about how from Romanticism came Transcendentalism. And then Transcendentalism, they're kind of out there and whimsical. And so from there, people were like, all right, I've had enough of that. I want to be realistic. And they want to give more realistic writings. So you're going to look at how history affected the people and why the type of writing emerged that did. If you choose an author, you're writing about one American author. You're going to look at their, biographical information, what happened to them, and then talk about any significant events that, influenced their writings or influenced their lives. And then what literary movement were they part of? Were they modern authors? Were they colonial authors? Things like that. And then some of the works that makes him or her famous and talk about them. And even talk about how they affect history or how they were received at that time and now, things like that. There is a list of authors available down at the bottom. So you can write either the paper, 2 to 3 page paper, or you can choose the PowerPoint as well. Either way, it needs to be typed double space MLA format. The spacing doesn't really matter on a PowerPoint because if you're looking at a PowerPoint, you're going to have bullet points, right? It's not like a paragraph. So 2 to 3 pages long for a PowerPoint, and then 12 to 15 slides, 2 to 3 pages long for a paper, 12 to 15 slides for a PowerPoint. You need at least 5 total quotes minimum, and they need to be cited. So you need 4 different sources. And then you also need, so if you choose to do the PowerPoint, you need to have, this is the one that stalls people, the electronic note cards. So I have an example from today's. So this is what you see in class. These are my notes down here. So what you all see is less than what I have here. So if you choose to do a PowerPoint, you are going to have, let's see if I do like this one. Yeah, so here, let me do this one. So it doesn't have much on here, 1 or 2 main things, right? And then underneath the part where it would have all the information that you would say out loud, that would, you know, be the bulk of all the information, you put it down here in the notes. You just kind of open it up, add your notes to all of the important juicy details. So up here you would just put like, you know, Ernest Hemingway, born here, major life events, and then down here you can give little like tidbits of the juicy parts of those major life events so that I know that you did some research. Okay, going back here. So you don't really have to worry about the topic outline. It's just kind of to help you. So basically, you don't have to use Noodle Tools. You can use any citation. But so your to-do list, you're going to find your sources, you're going to research, you're going to develop your 3 areas of concentration. So, you know, if you're doing an era, you're going to do, you know, major events, huge authors, how they've affected history today. There's your 3 topics. You're going to research those 3 things. Those are going to be the bulk of your paper. If you're doing, you know, an author, biography, again, the major works that they've done and how they've affected history. Those are examples of how you can write your 3 main topics that you're going to research. And then you're going to make an outline and you make your final copy. Going down here to the multi-genre. So say I chose Ernest Hemingway. I wrote my 2-page paper about him. I went over everything. And then now what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick some of these. I think I have to pick 2 to 3. 2 to 3 artifacts to kind of show how I know my author. So yeah, pick 2 or 3 of these. And so I would pick, you know, a minimum of 2. I would pick, I'm doing Ernest Hemingway. I think an interview with him would be really interesting. So I would like to envision that he's on Ellen. And I'm going to have Ellen interviewing him. And so I would have just, you know, the transcript of Ellen asking him questions and Ernest Hemingway answering them. And then I also love to cook. So I would pick a character recipe or, instead of character, it'd be an Ernest Hemingway recipe, you know. He liked whiskey, he liked smoking, he liked fishing. So I would find a way to be like, 1 cup fish. He was gritty, so you'd have, a dash of grit, outdoorsy. So you would make a recipe that would turn into Ernest Hemingway. Also, for my 3rd one, I think I would pick the obituary. Because of how he died, I think that would be fitting to be able to talk about his life. And so those would be my three multi-genre pieces. So you're picking 2 or 3 of those. Those are also due on the 17th. So you can pick from this list, or you can come up with other ones. Just let me know. And then here's a list of the authors as well. So you've got 2 things that you do: a research paper and a multi-genre paper. And you're picking either an American era or an American author.